November 13th, Equations Review. Solve each equation using the techniques you've learned so far. Negative 2x plus 1 is equal to negative 7. First we subtract 1 from both sides. We're left with negative 2x is equal to a negative 8. We divide both sides by a negative 2. We get x is equal to a positive 4. Moving down, minus 5 from both sides. 4x is equal to negative 11. Divide both sides by 4. The 4's cancel out. We have negative 11 fourths because that cannot be reduced. Next problem, minus 7 from both sides. That's a minus 7. And we're left with negative 7x on the left and 6 on the right. When we divide by a negative 7, we get x equals negative 6 sevenths. Minus 5 from both sides. Negative 10x is equal to negative 30. Divide by negative 10. X is equal to 3. For this next one, we're going to change 1/2 into 4/8 by multiplying both by 4. That way we can multiply all terms by 8 and cancel out the fractions. So we have 4 plus 8x is equal to 11. Then we can subtract 4 from both sides, and we have 8x is equal to 7. When we divide both sides by 8, we have x is equal to 7/8. Next up, we see sixths, fourths, and 36ths. They all will multiply to make 36. So if we change 1 over 6, multiply by 6, and we get 6 over 36x. And here if we multiply by 9, we have 27 over 36. So multiplying the entire thing by 36, we are left with 6x plus 27 is equal to 29. Then we subtract 27 from both sides. We have 6x is equal to 2. When we divide both sides by 6, we get x is equal to the reduced form 1/3. On the back, we can combine like terms. In fact, this gives us that negative 11 is equal to 0. So there is no solution because this is not a true statement. Negative 11 is not equal to 0. The next one, we can add 3 to both sides, and we get 40 is equal to 5 times the quantity x plus 6. We could distribute, but we don't need to. We can simply divide by 5 on both sides, and we're left with 8 is equal to x plus 6. That way, when we subtract 6 from both sides, we get 2 is equal to x. Similar story here. The fastest way is probably to divide by 10, and we're left with 1 plus 3b is equal to negative 2. When we subtract 1 from both sides, we have 3b is equal to negative 1. Equal to negative 3. Dividing both sides by 3, we have b is equal to negative 1. Next problem, divide both sides by 8. We have 4k minus 4 is equal to negative 4. Then when we add 4 to both sides, we get 4k is equal to 0. And when we divide by 4, we get k is equal to 0. The next problem, we can subtract 5 from both sides, and we're left with 8 times the quantity 1 plus 5x is equal to 8 plus 5x. So if I distribute this, I actually end up with 8 plus 40x is equal to 8 plus 5x. So I can move the x's to the left, and I'll be left with 35x, and on the right I have 0 when I subtract 8, so x is 0. The next problem, I see I have an x term on both sides and numbers on both sides. If the thirds are confusing you, we can multiply everything by 3, giving us 15 plus 12x is equal to x minus 51. I can subtract x from both sides and subtract 15 from both sides. And this gives me 11x is equal to negative 66. When I divide by 11, I get x equals negative 6. I have x terms on both sides. I'm going to add the 3x to keep things positive, and I will subtract 70 from both sides. And I'm left with negative 63 is equal to 7x. When I divide by 7, negative 9 is equal to x.